welcome back to the Film Reelcast. I'm Stuart, your host. We're back in the dojo. It's episode 5 called All In of Cobra Kai. So before we get into episode 5, if you haven't done already, please subscribe to this channel and please leave your feedback. I really enjoy talking to everyone who's watching these episodes, along with The Mandalorian, along with The Shield that I'm also reviewing. Okay, we've also got the audio podcast. Just look on all good podcasting platforms and look for that symbol up there, and you can subscribe to that. Over 100 episodes. Okay, let's get into episode 5 called All In. And it starts off with a flashback. You see Eli when he was going through his phase of when he was being bullied on a daily basis. And Kyla would have been the one, no doubt, who would have been bullying him. And you can see how upset he is, see how hurt he is, just by being bullied on a daily basis. And his mum calls to school and is trying to get this sorted out. And like every child, you do not want people to know you're being the victim of bullying, because it's embarrassing and humiliating. And he ends up laying on his bed because life is tough. And this does happen in real lives. So if you know anyone who's being bullied, it's just a horrible thing. Try and do something. Try and intervene. Try and stop that happening. It does affect people's lives. Honestly, it really, really does. Okay, so the irony of it is that he was being bullied, and now, like in many, many films and many TV series that you've seen, he's now become a bully. And we'll see this as the episode goes along, and he takes that to an extreme. And he's getting his tattoo done on his back, and you see moons there, and he's got a moon tattoo. Word of advice to any guy who wants to get a tattoo because they think they're in love with a female and you want to get their name, just don't do it, okay? Get one of a dog, get one of your cats, get one of your budgie. Do not get a female's. You will honestly regret it. And it kind of shows just how much life has changed due to Cobra Kai and due to the change in attitude of Eli. He's gone from someone who's being bullied to being crying on a daily basis to now having someone who's got status at school and got a girlfriend, which he never thought he'd have. And is he thought of highly or is he feared? There is a huge difference between being feared and respected. At the moment, Eli just doesn't know that difference. So you see Daniel trying to teach Dimitri. Remember, Dimitri got beaten up by Kreese last episode. Now he's gone to be taught by Daniel. And they try and play this out as in anyone can learn karate to start off with. I'm sure that will evolve and that will change. But they do the painting of the fences, the painting of the house, the sanding of the decking, which he gets a splinter at. They try and do the kind of getting your body in the right frame of mind by meditating. And he can't do that because his arms ache. And they really play this out. And they try and paint it as Dimitri is a very annoying character. That he's just got no attributes. He's all brains. He's no brawn. And there's no style or physique as well. And you can see the disappointing look on Daniel's face when he's kind of fighting an uphill battle. That everything he tries to do, that he was taught himself, that just not working for Dimitri. And that Robbie and his daughter Samantha are just natural athletes. And it's going to be a lot harder for Dimitri to get to their stage. And in contrast to what we just seen with Daniel and Dimitri, we then go to Cobra Kai Dojo where Kreese and Johnny are fighting, full contact, teaching the students that you must go for it. Never stop to win, to get what you want. And the students are really lapping this up. And this is a message that Kreese has always pushed upon his students in the original karate. And afterwards, he says to Johnny that you don't teach yourself of what you're pushing onto your students. As in, the only student missing is Robbie, and you need to go and get Robbie. You keep saying to people, go for it, but you're not doing it yourself. It will mean a lot to the students to show that you actually do believe your own words if you get Robbie to join the dojo. So after the session, they all go and get something to eat. And Chris and Mitch are there, and Chris shows Hawk a review that's been left of the dojo, of the Cobra Kai dojo, which is really damning, which is slating every single bit of it and telling people not to go there. Being completely obsessed with karate now, this is shown to Hawk, who flips his head, realises that the review is left by Dimitri after he was beaten up by Kreese, and understandably he's really bitter. And Hawk sees red and wants revenge. And also, whilst we're there, you can see a bond that may grow, that Tori really likes Miguel. And when she goes over to him, she sees that he's trying to do something on the laptop that he can give to Samantha. And she says that's really soppy. It's like a music and pictures, their old relationship, things that they like together, that he wants to send her to win her back. She says girls just aren't interested in that kind of soppy stuff. If you want to win a girl back, you've got to pretend you're not interested. Really confusing, but girls are really confusing beasts, honestly. They really are. So she says, just say you're not interested and start hanging around with me. That's really weird, because then Tori can start to win the affections of Miguel. But surely that can't be what she's trying to get onto. So the rest of the episode, you do see her trying to win the heart and the attention of Miguel. So at Miyagi-Do, you see Daniel trying to train Dimitri. And it's just not working. He's too weak. He says he's too academic, that he can't do it. Daniel, of course, doesn't believe this. And it kind of hits the nail on the head when Dimitri turns up and gives Daniel a note saying that his mum's excused him from any physical contact. This just isn't what it's all about. It's just not working. Daniel explains that you need to learn. You need to go down the hard road to get where you want. But at the moment, Dimitri just isn't seeing this. And when he says try and put it in practice, show me wax on, wax off, show me sanding, show me painting, Dimitri just isn't in tune with him, and he ends up getting kicked by Daniel, which really upsets him. And you can see Robbie and Samantha, maybe they're foreshadowing, but again they're practicing, going round in a circle, synchronising their moves so this ball doesn't tip over. Will this play into something maybe in 5 minutes? We'll have to wait and see. So Johnny is on a mission to try and find where Robbie is and get him back. And he goes to LaRusso's garage. And he meets Anush. And poor old Anush is trying to do his best to deflect any blame, any responsibility to do with this situation. And he recognises Johnny and has a go at him about hurting himself when he had to clean the graffiti off. Remember the dick that he sprayed on the massive poster. And he won't tell Johnny where Robbie is. So Johnny does what he does best, uses brute force, that pins him to a car and he punches him. And then he finds out, to the horror of Johnny, that his son is now living with the LaRussos. So you next see Dimitri, Samantha and Robbie at the mall. Dimitri leaves him to go and buy a comic. And whilst he's there, you see like a fin of a shark behind the comics there. You see Hawk turn up. And Hawk's pissed still about the review that was left online by Dimitri. And he wants him to remove it. And he says he's going to beat him up. And this is a real shock. And this shows just where Hawk's now at, basically. That he was once where Dimitri was. He was being beaten up. And now his best friend is threatening to beat him up for the sake of a review. A review, remember, was left because he was beaten up by Kreese. And it leads to a foot chase. And it goes back to where Samantha and Robbie were sat. But they're not there. And it leads to this fight scene.
You're dead meat.
Get back. You guys need to back off.
I don't want to have to hit a girl.
You wouldn't stand a chance.
5 against 3? More like 2.5.
And as you can see from the fight scene, that they love to go back to what was practiced beforehand. And you get the montage. Even during the fight, they still squeeze in a montage of fighting in a circle, on that board, floating on the water, now working in a fight. It's quite funny, to be honest, and they really shove it down your throat if you hadn't learned that this was foreshadowing when they were doing it in the first place. But it's quite a decent fight. Hawk gets his ass kicked, which pisses him off even more. So after the fight at the mall, Robbie and Samantha are celebrating. A great victory. Good defeated evil, for a want of a better word. And Dimitri is in the background, feeling a bit defeated. Yet again, he was going to have his arse handed to him and he had to have help. Help that he wished he could have done himself. Daniel comes in and says to him, you can do it, you just need to be of the right mindset and the right discipline. And in the house, they go for a few moves and they bond. Very slowly, but Dimitri learns that he can use those moves taught to him, such as painting, sanding, to defend himself. And over that moment, they really bond, and it's a huge step forward made by Dimitri. Learning of the fight and the bullying at the mall, Moon approaches Hawk and dumps him. And says that you're a bully, I don't want any bullies in my life, nothing to do with this, you were once bullied, and she points out the truth to him. And as spoken about earlier, he shows her the tattoo. Naively, the tattoo with Moon's name on it, and she says that means nothing. I'm not interested. Now for the rest of his life, he's got to date someone called Moon or get rid of it. So after being dumped by Moon, Hawk goes in and beats the crap out of a punch bag. And he's being watched, unbeknown to him, by Kreese. Probably the worst person you can have with you when you're your most vulnerable moment. And Hawk says to him, we'd lost against another dojo. And it says you didn't lose. The only time you say you've lost is when you say it yourself. So Carmen takes a drunk Johnny in and says to him, you must rise above this situation, that the rivalry going on is only going to hurt you, and it's going to hurt Daniel and Robbie, who's caught in the middle. And you must be the bigger man. But she references again to her ex-husband, who's a dangerous person who made her life a misery. I just wonder whether this is going to play a part later on down the line, that he's going to return and Johnny is going to rescue her. But at the moment, he's saying you must build the bridges, be the better person to get your son back. And interestingly, Johnny also paints a picture that his life was a misery when he grew up, and that things were good until Daniel joined the school. And they show the flashbacks of when he was punched on the beach, of when he had the water poured over him. Maybe it's a one-sided picture that he's actually talking about, but it's interesting from his point of view that he's portraying himself as the victim. So Tori is still helping Miguel forget about Samantha. And they're sitting there and she's using all the moves that she can, everything she's got in her bag to try and win him. And they're talking about that the sensei was saying, make a move, do what you can. And Miguel naively says, I'm not too sure what he means by that, but I guess it will happen when the time's right. Tori uses this to turn around and kiss. And to be honest, there's not much fight back from Miguel, who embraces it. And them two are now boyfriend and girlfriend, I should imagine, which will cause problems should Samantha change her mind and want Miguel back. So no doubt, fueled by Kreese, a few of the students go to Daniel's dojo. And they break in and they cause havoc, they destroy it, they cause so much damage there. The next day, Daniel, Robbie, Samantha go there to discover what's happened. They've even been as low to take Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor. I mean, that's really, really despicable. Honestly, it's a really low thing to do. Then they go outside, and the idiots probably could have got away with it, and it may have been taken as like a burglary or some kind of damage by unknown people, have been stupid enough to spray Cobra Kai Never Dies on the side of the famous yellow car that was used in the original Karate Kid, given to Daniel by Mr. Miyagi. Now this has pissed off Daniel, and he's got every right to be as well. So Daniel goes to Cobra Kai, confronts Johnny. And as he walks in, Johnny says to him, get your shoes off, you're disrespecting my dojo, which makes Daniel even more angry, because he says, you talk about disrespect, think about what you've just done to mine. Remember, at this current time, Johnny has no idea what's happened to Daniel's dojo, as he was no part of it. I mean, a full-blown argument erupts on the dojo floor between Daniel and Johnny. And Johnny still has no idea what Daniel's talking about, and why would he? It was with Carmen at the time when all this was happening. And what makes it worse is that an upset Daniel says to Johnny, you don't earn the Medal of Honor by stealing it. And you see the look on Hawk's face, because he was the one responsible for this. And whilst this is going on, you've got Kreese in the background, who's loving this. He really wants this. This is what he wanted all along. The real Kreese is starting to come out. The one who was homeless, the one who was humble, who said to Johnny that I need your help. This is his plans all along to try and get the feud between Daniel and Johnny erupting. Daniel even says to the other students that the doors to enlightenment aren't about destruction and stealing. It's about peace. And if you want to find that peace, go to my dojo, because because all you'll find is destruction and lies at this one. I mean, watching this clip, the penny is starting to drop with Johnny that something is wrong, something's happened that he is unaware of. So it gets to the point where the two square up to fight. Daniel says, you know I'm not going to strike first. Kreese is waiting for Johnny to strike first. Behind him on big words, strike first, strike hard. No mercy, that's what he's waiting for Johnny to do. But Johnny says, I'm going to be the bigger man, I'm not going to strike first, and takes a step back. Following Daniel's statement to the whole entire dojo, several students take the opportunity and leave and walk out and quit the Cobra Kai dojo. Johnny's standing there in the middle, helpless. Kreese is waiting for something to happen. I think Kreese had his plan all along, and this was what he wanted. And then he can try and manipulate Johnny in this situation of weakness to be a lot stronger, to get different students in. And in doing that, then Kreese will take over the dojo. It's going to be really interesting to see if the students then join Daniel's dojo, which will probably level out the amount of students should there be any more combat. But it was a nice episode, and I feel sorry for Johnny. He's always on the wrong side of things. And the way that Kreese has turned up is obviously going to make matters worse, but Johnny can't see it because he's blinded by the loyalty to Kreese. It wouldn't surprise me in the next episode if possibly Miguel finds that Medal of Honor on Hawk and he realises what's happened. And then he tells Johnny, and that could cause a divide. I mean, I honestly don't know if Hawk's going to go off with Kreese and they're going to be a pair together and they're going to have rivalry with Johnny and Miguel. I honestly don't know, but something's going to happen. Okay, that was episode 5, All In. And before we go, just a reminder to subscribe, leave your comments. And also we've got the audio podcast as well on all good podcasting platforms, on Android and on Apple. I've got Cobra Kai Season 1, I've got The Shield Season 1, I've got The Mandalorian, and I've got Would You Rather, which is a really dark humoured horror film. I'm also going to be doing Lethal Weapon. I'm going through all of those in time, which is a series I really enjoy and a series that helped launch the career of Mel Gibson. Really good fun films. Okay, that's it. I'm Stuart. This is the Film Reelcast, and I will see you soon.